Assalamualaikum and a very good day. So today we're going to continue on our topic of pastillage. Enjoy. So after reading this chapter or learning this chapter, you should be able to first explain the history of pastillage, second, explain the uses of pastillage, and then third, describe the techniques of handling pastillage, fondant, and gum paste. And the last one, you should be able to prepare the simple flower or ornament. Okay, let's move on. Okay, the introduction to pastillage. Pastillage is made with icing sugar, water, glucose, and gelatin. I repeat, the basic ingredient for pastillage is icing sugar, water, glucose, and gelatin, to which few drops of lemon juice or vinegar are added. So it means that sometimes we do need add some acidic to the mixture. The gelatin is first softened in the cool water in the bowl, so we call it blooming. We have to bloom the gelatin first, and then heat it over a bain-marie or water bath until the gelatin melts or dissolves. So always remember the ratio of gelatin is 1 part of gelatin to 3 parts of cool water. So mix together two ingredients, and let it there for maybe 5 minutes until the gelatin blooms, and then you can dissolve or melt them on the water bath or the bain-marie process. Okay, a few drops of lemon juice then added to the mixture, and finally the sifted icing sugar is mixed in. So you have to sieve your icing sugar before you use or before you mix with the mixture of the gelatin. The mixture can be worked by hand or an electronic mixer until thoroughly mixed. So you can either knead by your hand or you can use electric mixer. Depends on the size of the mixture. Then pastillage can be stored in a plastic bag in the refrigerator, and it can last for 1 to 3 weeks. But make sure you have to keep it in the airtight container, okay? Okay, a pastillage, the definition is a thick sugar paste similar to a gum paste that can be molded into different shapes and forms. When dried, it is hard and brittle. So the pastillage can hold the shape a little bit longer than the other types of fondant. Unlike the gum paste, the pastillage dries much quicker and stronger, so they can hold the shape or hold whatever thing that you created with the pastillage. Pastillage made with gelatin, water, and icing sugar. It hardens quickly and can only be shaped or molded for a short while by hand. So you have to do quick, or you have to go quick with when handling or using the pastillage. If handled too long, the surface will begin to dry and crack. So the surface won't become smooth and it will make your end up product doesn't look good. So the pastillage can also be rolled in variety of thickness and cut into the shape and dry and join later. So you can also create some ornament or something decoration part by part, and then when it dry you can glue them together to make a huge ornament, or we call it as centerpiece or decoration item. After hardening, the sandpaper can be used to achieve a very smooth and even texture. Whatever edge or surface which is not really smooth, you can smooth it by using a sandpaper. Use the most suitable size or roughness of the sandpaper to scrub the surface of the pastillage. Perfect material to produce very small to very large centerpiece to decorate cakes. So you can either do the delicate works with the pastillage, also you can make the whole big item or ornament or parts of decoration with the pastillage also. It can be used for making structure like building, gazebos, boats, sail, and etc. As what you can see on the screen, the several examples of pastillage food that have been made by the pastry chef. Okay, yes, you can eat the pastillage, but it is primarily used only to make a statement rather than consuming it as it dry very hard. So it is not suitable for consuming, but Pastilla's disadvantage is you only have short time of period to do work with it, but its quick firmness give a huge advantage to cake decorators who require a quick response from materials. So it means that you have to work very quick or very faster when handling the pastillage because it's hardened very quick. Okay, now we move into the history parts of pastillage. The original recipe for pastillage was the creation of an Italian patissier named John Pastilla. He was the personal patissier of Catherine de' Medici and was employed in the royal household of her husband, Henry II, who was King of France from 1547 until 1559. Pastilla has brought with him to France a recipe for sweets which he had created several years earlier in his residence in Italy. These small sweets were flavoring and were known in Italy as pastille. So he's the one who created the pastillage. Then they were extremely fashionable in Italy, and the Italian upper class carried them in their garment to eat at their leisure throughout the days. It was Catherine de' Medici who introduced them to the French court. So it was this simple recipe that pastillage was created. At a later date, the recipe was then modified, and with the discovery of gelatin, the pastillage as we know it today was created. So before this, the pastillage looked like a candy uh, or pastille that they bring in the box and put inside their garment and having during their sweet time. So pastilles have been used for 100 years in France to create peace Montes. This is a kind of decorative confectionery centerpiece in an architectural or sculptural from use for formal banquet. So these are the picture of the pieces of Montes. Now we move on into making and handling pastillage. In making and handling pastillage, a great care is very important. All the tool and equipment must be clean and dry. Make sure that all your equipment or your surface of your desk or your table or your hands or need to be dry. Pastillage dries and crusts over even faster than the marzipan, so it must be kept covered at all times. Make sure you have your airtight container, or if you don't have that, you can cover it with plastic wrap. When working with pastillage, keep unused portion in the bowl covered with damp cloth or plastic wrap. So before roll the pastillage, make sure that the template made from the cardboard is ready. So you have to be prepared before you start your work. The mold, your stencil, your cutter, the place that you want to keep your item, you have to be prepared first before you start your work because the pastillas tend to harden very quick. And then plan your work quickly until your product are formed and ready for drying. So you need to be prepared and you need to list down whatever step or whatever pieces that you want to start with. Okay, now we move on into the sugar paste. Other name for sugar paste is roll fondant or ready to roll fondant. This is a typical fondant that we usually can buy in the pastry shop or the bakery shop, and the chef use it to cover the wedding cake. Okay, the texture of sugar paste usually soft and pliable like a play-doh and easy to roll out. This is more soft than the pastillage mixture or the pastillage texture. Okay. The main use of sugar paste is to cover the cakes or board. The cake board also need to be covered when you're making or you're preparing your wedding cake. And sugar paste or fondant also can be used to make a small details or basic figurine on your. So the basic ingredient for making sugar paste are gelatin, water, glucose, glycerin, and ice and sugar. I repeat, gelatin, water, glucose, glycerin, and ice and sugar. So it means that the addition ingredient different from the pastillage is they added in glucose and glycerin to the sugar paste to make it more pliable. So recommendation and suggestion when using your sugar paste or fondant, you need to cover your cake just with the sugar paste, the softest one to eat, never with the other paste. So means that always choose sugar paste if you want to cover your wedding cake or if you want to have it to cut it and to give it to your customer or your guest. But if you want to do a dummy cake, just like the 3 to 4 layers of cake or 3 to 4 tiers of cake, you can use pastillage so that it can harden and we can keep it for a longer period of time. When modeling your figurine or characters, rather than using just sugar paste, many people prefer, first step, using a combination of 50% of sugar paste and 50% of gum paste. For this gum paste, we move to the gum paste in the next session. So since the figurine keep their shape better and dry harder. So if you only use sugar paste to make a figurine, we can do it, but the end up product, it doesn't look nice if you just really use the sugar paste only. So most of the chefs, they suggest to use half part of sugar paste and half part of gum paste. Okay, the second one is by adding some CMC. Other part is you can add in some CMC, which is carbomethylcellulose, to get a basic modeling paste, more effective than just sugar paste when modeling. So you take some CMC, maybe 1 teaspoon, and then just add into your roll fondant, and it will become the texture just like the gum paste texture or sugar paste texture. Okay, now we move on into the gum paste. Other name for gum paste are floral paste, flower paste, petal paste. So the texture of the gum paste, which is flexible, pliable, dry very quickly, is hard finish, holds its shape very well, and can be rolled out as thin as a paper. So this is the most suitable paste that you want if you want to make or you want to create the flower petal or the rose petal. So the main uses of gum paste are modeling the realistic sugar flower. You can roll out the petal as thin as needed. And then modeling professional sugar figurine and characters that keep a perfect shape. So they usually use this paste to create several or numerous types of flower, from orchid to the roses to the hydrangea, you name it, whatever. The paste will make the flower look very realistic. So the basic ingredient for preparing the gum paste is egg white, gelatin, water, tragacan gum or CMC, glucose, shortening, and icing sugar. So here, addition of the ingredients are egg white, shortening, rather than the basic ingredient that you have been learned before this. Okay, recommendation or suggestion when you're using the gum paste. It can also be considered as modeling paste since it's also useful to make sugar figurine, not just flower. So rather than preparing the flower, you also can make a people figurine or animals or any other things you want to put or you want to decorate on top of your product, on top of your cake. It is important that you work quickly to prevent the gum paste from drying and cracking. Also, bear in mind, if you want to do this work, please do in the cool places. Don't do it warm place because it will melt and the end up product will not become neat and nice. When modeling, some people prefer using 50% of gum paste and 50% of sugar paste instead of gum paste itself, just like what I mentioned before this. So this option gives a good result because it is more stable and it's cheaper because gum paste is more expensive than the sugar paste. Gum paste is more expensive because the ratio of the CMC or sugarcane gum, and then the other thing added, for example, the egg, the shortening, so that make the mixture is more expensive than the raw fondant. Then never cover a cake with gum paste. It dries too hard to eat. As I previously said, just do it with sugar paste or fondant. So it is not advisable to cover your cake with a gum paste. If you want to do a dummy cake, and then it's okay. You can use the gum paste. Okay, there are three types of glue. Glue means something that you want to stick your flower petals, you want to stick, or you want to paste your ornament parts to make or to assemble it into the ornament, the full architecture product. So you can choose either using royal icing, flower paste softened with egg white, or some gum arabic glue. Okay, we first move on into the royal icing. So royal icing is made by mixing icing sugar and egg white only. So it is used to join the small or large structure pieces. It is stronger than egg white. So you just mix the two ingredients together and then use a brush the surface of your pastillage, of your gum paste, or of your sugar paste, and then just paste them together. So mix one large egg white with 300 grams of sifted icing sugar, and then stir the mixture until the icing stand in firm peak. So these are the way to prepare the royal icing. As what you can see on the screen above this is also a way to decorate your cake. We call it as embroidery style. So you just paint your cake with the royal icing. So when it dry, it become hardened and stay on the cake for a longer period of time. So another types of glue is gum arabic glue. Gum arabic, also known as acacia gum, is a natural gum consisting of the hardened sap of the various species of acacia tree. So this glue is used for sticking soft pieces of paste to the other pieces of soft or firm paste. It will dry more quickly than the egg white. So this is more suitable when you want to paste your flower petals. This glue does not keep well, so you are advised to make in a small quantity or small batch of mixture. And mix 1 part of blue Arabic with 3 parts of cool water. Same ratio when you want to bloom your gelatin just now. So next one is a flower paste glue. This paste can be used for many items such as sugar ball and other products. It is also can be used for glue with addition of egg white to make it more liquid. Mix 425 grams of icing sugar with 60 grams of corn flour and 3 teaspoons of gum tragacan, and add in some egg white to make it more liquid. So those are several types of cake which have been covered with the fondant, and those flowers are made by the flower paste. And after you finish cover your cake, you can also do the painting on your cake, just like on your right side of your picture. This is hand painted cake. You can use food coloring to just paste on top of your fondant and let it dry. This is also example how do you want to decorate your cake. On your left side, you have a bunch of peonies on top of the cake, and then the second one, embroidery using icing sugar, And then on your right side, again, the hand painted cake decoration. The end. Thank you.